So welcome to our Lighthouse 1 p.m. event. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. Today we are talking about labeling and organization. Labeling primarily, right?
Yes.
Labeling. Although Melissa's very organized, so I'm sure she'll share some of that wisdom as well. But hopefully you're here at the right place. If you've never been here before, you know that you don't know this, but I do mute everyone, so stay tuned. You are all muted now. It's just me here. Thank you for coming. I know that hopefully this is providing you some support in this time of COVID-19 because you're actually providing support to us at the same time. We love being there for you. So thanks for being here. Today we are talking about labeling. But before we start, I want to let you know that tomorrow we are speaking, our event is speaking with a blind athlete. Thursday is going to be a mobility lesson specific to crossing intersections. And Friday is going to be a stress management with Jean. She's going to do her program called Worry Schmurry with us. And then immediately following that event is going to be our support group with Pam. So thank you for being here. And I'm going to unmute Melissa. Hi, Melissa. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Melissa, and I work up at the Lighthouse as an instructor, and I started as a client and now an instructor, and I am visually impaired. I do have limited sight in the legally blind category that makes a little bit of a challenge. And I recently moved just actually a couple weeks ago, April 1st. And so I'm in a new place and thought this would be a good opportunity to have a new washer and dryer and dishwasher and some appliances to get some help from my son, David, to videotape it, as well as getting those touch dots in place so I can use the appliances independently. So I didn't, obviously I needed somebody here at the time, and now he's at work. And so that's why we did the video in advance, so he could direct me on where to put my touch dot. And so hopefully we're going to go in 3 segments, and hopefully you'll enjoy it, and we can have some questions in between segments. And if anybody wants to share how they label.
Hello.
Maddie, if you want to go ahead and start the video on the washer and dryer, we'll start with that segment.
Okay, I'm about to, but I want to let you know that I accidentally muted you for like 30 seconds. So this video is of you labeling what?
The washer and dryer.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. House. And as most of you probably know, we are all working remotely due to the coronavirus. And just before our stay-at-home order was issued, we moved into a new house. And I have all new appliances, washer and dryer, none of which are labeled. So I'm going to get some help from my son, David, who is doing the video right now, and will give me some direction on how to label these knobs on the washer and dryer. And just to backtrack for a second, I am visually impaired. I am legally blind. So I know that we've got knobs here. I don't know what they're for. So by labeling them with some touch dots, I am going to figure this out so I can do my laundry independently. Now I have a little toolbox for labeling. I hope I'm holding that correctly. And I have kind of like little stickers, rubber bands. Now these are square touch dots. I've got some puff paint. And down here somewhere, here we go, I have some clear bump dots that I would probably use more on the microwave than in here. I think I've decided that I'm going to go with the orange touch dots for a little bit of contrast in color. And the square ones feel a little bit big to me, so I'm going with the orange today. So I'm gonna tack this up. Find my clears. Oh, you could also use Velcro, and they've got stickers on the back if you wanted to use Velcro to feel the soft or the rough part. That's an option. So whatever you have in your little toolkit for labeling would be appropriate. So David, I understand that here by the vent, this is the start and stop knob. It's just a push, so I really don't need to label that. And part of this is we don't want to over label. If we have 20 bump dots here, they're not going to mean anything. So I want to choose what is going to work best for me. My go-to is to pick the middle ground. So what I would like to do is have a touch dot where the medium heat is, not the cool or the hot. So I would like to do that because then by default I will know to go to the right for hotter, left for cooler if you want it just a fluff dry. So as I'm feeling this knob, what I do find is that there is a small bump already on this knob. So I know it's going straight up, which is great. I don't have to label the knob itself. So David, what is to the left, top, and side as I feel some writing here?
Low is on the left, medium is in the middle, and high is on the right.
So if I follow right to here, this would be the medium location, correct?
Yes.
So I can feel this and with my finger and know I'm lined up for medium. Okay,
Yep.
And what is over here, David?
That is the different dry cycles. You have auto dry, time dry, and air dry.
I feel a bump right here, so that's telling me I know how to turn this, and usually the knobs will go clockwise. I don't know if you can see it, but there is a bump here on the dial. So tell me, David, where is my just an automatic auto dry cycle that I could line this up with?
It is facing the dot. If you would like in the normal, I would go down a little bit to about right there.
So if I follow this bump and line this up right here, that is going to be the auto dry.
Yeah.
Now what if, just to do one more label, I think there are some time cycles to the right of about 1, 2 o'clock. If you're following a clock face, what is here as far as where would be a 30-minute mark if I wanted to throw something in for a half hour?
So maybe a 30-minute and a 60-minute. 30-minute would be about right there.
I would just do 30. Can always do 2 30s. Just like 2 nickels equal a dime. So I'm following with my finger. I'm going to press right there. And I think we're labeled.
Yeah.
I should mention too, I cleaned these surfaces prior to doing this so that there was no residue or anything that would cause the bump dots not to adhere to the surface. Okay, now we're going to move over to the washer. So what do we have over to the right here, David?
That is the wash cycle. It has listed for heavy duty, normal wash, delicate wash.
Okay. Now this is spinning, so this tells me we're going to have to push it in to start it. But to get this lined up, I may have to ask a little bit of help, David. I will have to label the knob on this one as well as the edge of it. So where is my spot going to be on the dial here?
On the left side of the spot, about right here. Just follow it down. Yep.
Is this good right here?
Yep.
Okay. So that means my knob is lined up. Now, where is the normal cycle?
Normal will be on a little bit of the...
About 3 o'clock?
A little bit on the right side if you want to...
Is this it right here?
Yep.
So maybe 3:30? Okay. The only other one I might use is what is over here, delicate.
Heavy duties on top, the delicates on the left. Yeah.
This is heavy duty.
That one is heavy duty.
And then this one is delicate.
Delicate is more down here on the left corner.
Well, I can find, let's see, let's do, this is heavy duty right here.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's just leave it at that. Because that could be towels. And then this would be a regular, oh, I just moved it. Do I have it back in place, David?
Let's see.
My bad.
You're okay.
Okay. So now this is a small laundry area, but it is a working washer and dryer, so I'm happy. Now I'm feeling the knobs here. They have a bump. I'm assuming that straight up is going to be, what is that, normal wash, or which one is this? Is this temperature or size?
That is temperature.
Okay. So this is going to be warm. And then cold would be to the left and hot would be to the right.
Yep.
Okay, and the left knob then is going to be size, or how much water, capacity.
Size.
Okay, is this, I feel the bump here.
Yep.
This is medium. And then this would be full.
Yep.
And
large.
Small.
Yep.
Okay. There we go. Now, what you can also do, I don't think I'm going to do it on this particular machine, but you can with puff paint, you could do temperature, a T under here, and then that way you could feel the letter T to know that this would be temperature. I could add another dot down below, and then that way I know that that's the temperature, but I think I'll remember, and not to overmark. So there we go with that. The other thing I would like you to take a look at, we just moved in. If you take a look at the shelf up here, it's not a very wide shelf, and I've actually already dropped something that this is gray on gray. There is no contrast. So I'm probably going to ask David, surprise, to get some narrow electrical tape or something from Ace Hardware and put a contrasting strip here so I know where the edge of the shelf is. I did want you to also take a quick look. This is a little bit of liquid laundry soap. You can use puff paint to label the inside of this to make sure that you're getting the right amount of liquid. That's a little bit that's left. I've really gone toward these washer pods that you use one of these pods for a small load and two for a regular load. And they feel a little funky. They're kind of squishy, all the liquids in here. I almost feel like, and this dissolves this outside little packet. So there's no residue left behind. It is so much easier to measure just by throwing in one or two of these depending on your load size. So that is something that initially I thought that's a little weird, but they are so convenient. I really like that. There we go. So that's about it for labeling the washer and dryer. And we're going to be labeling some other things in the kitchen and new remote and things of that nature. So this was just to get us started, and I'll see you in the next segment. And thank you to Dave. So Maddie, am I unmuted?
You are.
Okay. So that is the washer and dryer. And I want to thank David for helping me out with that. And I think at this point, if anybody has some suggestions on how they label their washer and dryer, what makes their life a little easier, I'm happy to hear what you are doing at your home.
Okay, I'll unmute everyone. Also, maybe a good time to ask questions. If you were over the phone, maybe it was not as clear. If you wanted to ask any questions, you can. Okay. Everyone is unmuted. If it seems like there's a lot of noise coming from your end, I'm going to mute you out again.
Hey, I need to be really aware right now because I can't just be marked out into an intersection. So when I approach an intersection, and I know it's
obviously you have no idea who I am because.
All right. Well, I have a question for you, Melissa.
Okay.
I have issues with those dials that rotate, like the second one that you had.
Yes, I do too.
It has like a clear plastic sheet around it, and that rotates freely, and it's hard to mark appliances like that. Any suggestions or?
Well, I use that as my guide, and if you use your finger under the edge of it, you'll be able to feel where it should be, and then you get that orange dot right lined up, and then that's when you're going to push it in and get it moved to the dot that you have on the actual appliance, not the dial. So it's definitely a two-handed process to get everything working. Not my first choice, but sometimes you have to work with what you have. And what I will say is, this is everyone's choice. What's going to work best for you? I don't like to overmark. I like to keep it simple, like I said in the beginning, whether it's just doing a dot, for the medium load. And it's kind of like a dial on a stove. To the right is hot or more full, and to the left would be cool, or it would be a smaller load. So choose what works for you. If it works for you to have additional bump dots, or a square and a round bump dot, do that, whatever works for you. And if you try it out, let's say you're using this for a couple of weeks and you don't like the way you labeled it, they come off. Clean your surface again and relabel it, and change it to what is comfortable for you. And yes, you may need to have a sighted person help you get them in the right spot, but it does need to be the way you like it. This is your independence, and whatever is best for you.
Hey, Maddie,
Hi.
what if you tape that clear plastic shield that rotates? What if you tape that down so it stays in place, and then you can put your bump dots on that?
Yeah, it's just hard to access where to tape it to. So something I think I'll try next time is to actually pull the knob off, because most knobs actually just slide off. So trial and error. We learn new things every time we try to help people out and mark appliances. So
I was afraid to pull it off, that I would break it. So
yeah, I don't know. All of our knobs just slide off with, they don't slide off easily, but they do pull off. So
Is the shield necessary?
I think it's a dust shield. In any case, not all appliances have it.
No.
But good suggestion, Kathy.
Hey, get rid of it if it doesn't work.
no, that's an expensive proposition.
You can.
Well, no, not the whole washer, Melissa, just that shield.
Oh, okay.
You can't.
No. I'm all for the least amount of money spent.
Okay.
So Melissa,
Yes.
this is Terry, and my washer and dryer have up and down arrows and digital. So how would you suggest marking those?
Well, it's similar to the digital on your stove, and I'm not sure, does yours make a little noise at your increments? Like when you mark the stove, it's going to, your up and down buttons are going to digitally move by 5 degrees. So on most of the digital washers, like if it makes a little ping noise when you've moved to the next setting, what you need to do is have someone work with you. And if 3 touches moves it to a medium load, then you need to remember that you need to press it 3 times when you've activated it to go to the medium load. And then the other dial, you know, if you're, and I know most of those have an auto adjust on the water level and everything. So you really need to know how many times you need to push your button. And then however is best for you to indicate that at the side of your washer. Do you want to set up 3 little bump dots to remember it's 3 times, or will you just remember that on your own?
Oh, well, you know what? I hadn't thought about that, but now I recall seeing something where there's like a little chime or something you can turn on or off. So maybe it's off and I need to turn it on, and then I can do that.
I absolutely turn it on.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
This kind of brings up a good point, though. If you are someone who's purchasing new appliances, these are all things to keep in mind. You know, I know that they have, I've worked with someone who has one of those washers that chimes. So like low has a low sounding tone, medium has a medium sounding tone, and high has a high pitched tone. So, you know, it could be useful if you have auditory skills.
And well, purchasing this washer and dryer, I did not want to go high end. I did not want digital. So not everybody seems to carry those anymore. Everybody wants the fancy schmancy, but you can still, you know, find the old dial ones, and they're alive and well out there.
They're hard to find.
Oh, do I hear someone's chimes?
Susan
That's Maddie, that's Sandy.
Oh, Susan says they're hard.
Yeah. Those, I had a hard time finding a washer like that.
Did you hear that, Melissa? Susan,
I did not.
Susan says she's having a hard time to find a washer like that.
Well, I found one. I just called the store and said, send me your simplest one that I can navigate, and they just sent me one. But they're
So
not
you
easy
wanted
to find.
sight
What
unseen,
brand
so
are
to
they?
speak.
You know? I did, but I've dealt with that. It's a used appliance store in Englewood, and I've been dealing with them for years.
Okay, and I went through a used appliance dealer. This was like new, and so sometimes that's the way to go.
What brand are they, if I can ask? Because my dryer's ready to die, and I want to get one like yours.
I want to say Maytag. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think it says Kenmore on it. This is not an advertisement for Kenmore, but.
Okay. Well, then we'll go with Kenmore because Maddie could see the label.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any good?
Kenmore, isn't Kenmore out of business because Sears went out?
Bad news.
I don't think so.
Let me guess. Company.
You can't get Kenmore everywhere.
All right, as much as I love the commentary on Kenmore, we're going to move on from that topic. Someone has to Google it for us to know the true answer here. Does anybody have any other suggestions or comments on labeling? Labeling something like a washer?
Okay, I think that we've covered the washer and dryer. So the next segment, we're doing the kitchen, which is dishwasher, the stove, and the microwave. So Maddie, if you want to start that up. Hi, we're back. We've moved from the laundry room into the kitchen, and David is going to help me label the dishwasher, the stove, and the microwave. And for the dishwasher, we have, it's very simple, it's preset. The only thing that I'm really going to do is add a touch dot for the start button. And because this is a little bit lower, I'm going to use an orange touch dot. And I am going to pull this out a little so I don't actually start it. And David, am I lined up okay?
Yep.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to give it a little push. So all I really need to do is I would close this all the way and push the start button. And I'm good to go. Now for the microwave, because it is a shared item, dishwasher is too, but I am going to use clear bump dots on this, and the first thing I would like to do is find the 5 button, because that will help me if I want to put a specific time in. So David, let me know if my finger is getting close. Stop.
A little bit to the right.
A little bit up.
No.
Right
Above.
right above, right here.
No, to the right.
To the right.
Yep, perfect.
Right there. Okay.
Yep.
And then the start button, if David, you said it was a little bit to the right,
Yep.
right in this area. Does that look good?
Up a slight. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Oh,
And now you can find the stop line.
nope, that's the fan. Whoa. Okay. Okay, that went well. Okay, let's go ahead and get right here. Is that the stop?
Yep.
Okay, now we have the stop button. So I know the right is start, left is stop. I've got my 5. The other thing I would like to label is sometimes I like to defrost something I've not pulled out from the freezer and need it for dinner. How am I doing, David? Up higher?
About right there.
Right there?
Yep.
That's defrost. Okay. And the only other thing would be popcorn. So
It's in the very top left here.
top left. Okay. I'm going to follow about the same line across from defrost.
One line up.
One line up, like right here.
A little bit to the right.
Little right there.
A little bit more.
Little up.
Slight more, same distance. Perfect.
Okay. And
Yep, and that's
oopsies.
popcorn.
Nope. I moved it. I lost it.
All right, that's all right. Want to get another one up there?
I do, because I don't know what I did with that one. About right here.
A little bit up and to the right.
Oh, on the right? Right there?
Yep, perfect. Yep.
Much
that's it.
better. Okay. And when you drop a clear touch dot, it will take me a while to find it again, but we will. So if we take a look at the stovetop, what I'm not used to is this is a 5 burner, so there's a warming burner in the center, but it will still have the front burners to the outside. So I am going to go ahead and label up above the outside burner, just so I make sure I've got the right knob. I'm going to put this up here. And then we're going to swing over to the left a little, and I'm going to find the other knob and label that. You know, by default, I know then the right one is the back burner. The middle one here is going to be the back burner. Generally, they go clockwise, where your highest temperature is to the right and lower temperatures to your left. So that's pretty standard. The other thing I'm going to need help with, David, is where is the on button for the stove?
For the oven?
For the oven.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So let's see a touch dot.
There we go.
We're going to put one under bake.
Is that basically the on button?
Yes.
Okay. And if you, for me, as far as changing the temperature, if you could put that on the up button, I always like to know up. Now, is the down button below or to the side?
Below.
So this would be up, this would be down.
Yes.
Major importance, if you could label the off button.
Right here. Sorry, I wasn't seeing it on the camera. But
Okay.
there we go.
So, and this is the off. So we've got bake, off, we've got up. And just so people know, on these automatic stoves, every time you push it, it goes by 5-degree increments, and it starts at 350. So that's how you're going to time or figure out how to go from 350 to 375 is by 5-degree increments. And that's pretty much it. I've got the microwave, the oven, the stovetop, the dishwasher, the washer and dryer. That's it. We're ready to cook, clean up, and ready for what comes forward. So thank you for joining me. What is easier, I must say, when you're getting some help labeling, it was difficult for David to hold the phone and put labels on at the same time. So trying to direct me and getting these bump dots in the right spot was a little bit of a strategy there. So I appreciate his help. So when you're at home, if you want to use a different color touch dot or a square, whatever you want to use that's going to make it easier for you, do it that way. I am sharing a space, so I like to use the clear so it's not interfering with someone that's sighted and they have to take a look at what they're doing. They can see through the edge of that touch dot, but it's whatever you want it to be. So anyway, Maddie, if you would like to open up for questions or comments, I would love to hear from everyone.
Okay, I'm unmuting everybody. You are all unmuted. So I'd love to hear about any
75,
markings.
100,
Melissa, Kathy here.
75.
I'm here.
Okay, you said you mentioned using clear bump dots on your microwave, correct?
Yes.
Is there an advantage to that?
Not for me. I'm strictly using it by touch. By using the flatter, clear touch dots, someone with sight can see through that. And for whatever reason, sighted people really want to see what button they're pushing. So just because I'm in a shared space, I want to make it easy for everybody else that's using the same equipment. And so that's why I chose the clear touch dot. I would be fine with any color. The squares were a little too big, so I stuck with the round, but it's whatever you want it to be. And I might have chosen differently if I weren't sharing the space with someone.
Okay.
Hi, this is what. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, this is Juanita.
Hi,
Okay,
Juanita.
hi. So I had this little. It's like a little dot. It's like round, and like you could. It's like visible, like it's like a visible dot. Whatever, you can like feel it.
Yes.
And to tell you like when like the start button, the start button. So this is for the microwave.
Yes.
I like that. That's very helpful to me as well.
Well, what I want to mention too, Juanita, is the start button for me was to the right, but the stop button was all the way to the left. And that can be important because I'm sharing a space. And sometimes if someone opens the door and takes something out with 5 seconds left to go, then when it comes up to be your turn and you're trying to turn it on and it won't go, then you've got to know where that stop or clear button is so that you can get the microwave started. So that I thought was a good one too. So I'm glad that was helpful.
Yeah, it really was. And I enjoyed that.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Amy. I was wondering where you got all those little touch dots.
Well, it's a variety. I did get some through the Lighthouse store. You can also get those online at Maxi Aids and a group called LS&S. So that's like Lake Sam. And also you could try on Amazon. Some of the other things I got at like a craft store, like Michael's, Hobby Lobby is where I got the Velcro dots. So it's a variety of places, rubber bands, just about anywhere. You know, the puff paint you can get at a craft store, as I know the Lighthouse is closed right now. So you can do these things through Amazon and get your orders in. Or if you even just need some rubber bands for labeling, that could be a part of your grocery order if you are getting grocery delivery. And some of those, like I've got some round colorful stickers for other things to label that kind of like how you would do a garage sale where you have colored dots and things you can put on. So I don't know, for those you can see, I've got just like a craft sheet of different colors, and I can pop off a little round sticker. I don't usually put these on appliances because they don't clean up as well, but if you need to label something else. So these can be really just from office supply, or some of the grocery stores sell those little stickers for garage sales. So whatever might work for you. But these seem to adhere the best, the regular touch dots, especially because you'll be cleaning that surface, and they'll stick a little bit better.
But they're pretty smooth. You don't feel them so well.
Well, the colored ones that are flat would be if you still have some usable vision and still see some color. You could use that for some color coding on things that you can't really read the label, but that bright little pop of color might help you out for labeling. So it really depends on where your vision is at right now. So yes, okay, I do agree with that. That's where you might want to use a Velcro, which I always feel like is a BOGO, because you've got the soft side on one side of it and then the rough side on the other. So you really have two tactile pieces in one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Anybody else with a question?
I just have a question to David, I guess, is that I like how you were marking it, but he was sort of giving you instructions. I think that's really cool, because then when you go back to use it, you have more knowledge as to where those buttons are. He didn't just mark it for you.
Oh, absolutely. I think that you have to be a part of it and decide where you want it, and and feel where it is, so that you know that it's the lower right or the upper left. And you need to 100% be a participant in this. This is your labeling. And, you know, so except for when I dropped the one touch dot, I thought we did pretty well.
That was hilarious, because I think that touch dot is gone forever. You were like, I'll find it later. I'm like, no, that thing is free. He's gone.
I think it is gone. I haven't found it yet.
I'll probably stick to your foot or something.
Oh, great. Well, add a little fiber.
Yeah, you might add it to your vitamin regimen. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe it'll count as vitamin D.
Should we move on to your last section?
Okay, we're going to go to just well, it can be the last segment. We'll see how much time we have, but this would be just a quick look at some remotes and a laptop keyboard.
All right, I'm going to mute everyone again.
Hi, we're back for more labeling. Moving into a new place, we have some new remotes, and one old one that I want to have you take a look at. And first thing I want you to take a look at is we have moved from one carrier to this area has Comcast, and this is the Comcast remote. And what I'd like you to do is just take a listen. That is the voice activated button, so I don't have to find the right channel to press in. All I have to do is hold down that button and speak into the remote and let them know if I want Food Network, Animal Planet, and if you do know the channel number, you can say that as well, and it automatically goes to it. Now there's two very skinny buttons up here at the top. They're very thin. They would not support a touch dot or locator dot, but I know that the on-off button is to the right, so there's really no need to label there. And I do know the volume's over on the left, and I can feel that there are little dimples at the top and bottom, so you know what's up and down for higher or lower volume. And so I don't really see that there's too much labeling I need to do with this. You can feel they've already got a dimple on the 5, so there's no need to do that. So thank you, Comcast. That's very nicely done. Now this is a remote for the monitor up front that I hook up my laptop to. And if you can see, this is great. There's a square button up on the right, that's for input, and there's a big round button that's on and off. I wouldn't need to label that because I can feel the difference between a round button and a square button. So this would take it on and off. The only thing I might do is on this one, if I feel off to the side, there were not any dimples on the volume button. And since I'm trying to listen to the screen reader, I might need a little bit more volume. So I have gone ahead and put what we call a locator dot there. And I'm not sure that you can see or not, but they're very, very tiny, and your finger would just slide right over it. They're clear and easy to apply. So that's about it that I would do with this button. This is does have a dimple on the 5 as well, so that's all set. Now this is an older remote that's being returned, and both of the buttons up top are the exact same shape. So I guess the one to the right is to change your input. The one on the left is on off.
The one on the right is to turn off the TV.
Oh, okay.
And if you were to have that set up to a cable box, then the one on the left would be for the cable box.
Okay, see? All this time I didn't even know it. You know, so this doesn't, you know, even have a different shape button to help us out there. And if you feel here, I did find the little locator or dimples on the 5 are over to the left a little. So they're all located a little differently. You just have to find where they are. So on this remote, I would, you know, because it already is a color, I'd probably just stick one of these orange dots right on top. So what I would probably do is go ahead and just do the button over to the right, because that would be on off. And if you feel it, then you'd feel this bigger bump over here to the right. So what you really have to decide is what's going to work for you, what's a necessary button for you to have to change your channels or whatever. And I will say with some of the very small locator dots, these little clear ones, you would additionally, if it's a small button, you may need to trim the edge of the sticky part so that it will fit. Now, I don't know, David, if you can do a close-up for me, but on my laptop, I would have preferred maybe a black background and white letters, but this one is yellow on black, and these are the bolder keys so that I can see them. But I've also got these clear small locator touch dots that right here it would get my fingers set. I've got 3, 6, and 9 up top. There is a little locator dot for the tab button over here because that gets used frequently. Over here, I've got a small locator dot. I don't know if you can zoom in on that for the enter button. So depending on what you would like to do, you choose what keys you're going to use most frequently. This is a Chromebook. So right below the tab, I've got the Chrome key over here, but I didn't mark it because I know that is right under the tab key. So by default, I just slide my finger down, but that still gives me a location to find where I need to be. So whatever is going to be most convenient for you, and you can get someone sighted, hopefully, socially distant, but able to get these keys on for you, and that can make a difference in how you have it set up. So that's it. Remotes are really in pretty good shape. Thank you, Comcast, and thank you, David, for being the videographer here. And at this point, we will finish this up, and then we'll open up for questions and answers with Maddie. Thank you. Have appreciated having Comcast back and just pushing a button and asking the remote to find a channel or a number. And what I meant by on the keypad there, that 5 button, the dimple will sometimes be at the bottom of the 5 key or over to the left of the 5 key. So you need to feel with your finger and find where those little dimples are so you'll know, because you can, you know, use that to navigate putting in a channel if you don't have a voice activated remote. And I think we can maybe unmute for some questions on remotes and keyboard.
Okay, I'm about to unmute everybody. I know not everybody uses computers here, but you probably use a remote. Any questions or suggestions on that?
Where do you get the dots for the Chrome keyboard? Those yellow things put on.
Those are Vizio, and you can go online and get them either through Amazon, MaxiAids, LS&S. So you would do a Google search for those large print. They adhere right to your key.
Okay, and what are they called? They're just called Vizio?
Keyboard letters.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Melissa, the
I'm back
brand
on.
is Vizio or Vizimax. I forget, but they're available.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
They'll be a life changer for me.
Well, and you can get a dark background, a black background with white letters, or white and black. It makes them larger. So you can make that choice on what might be better for your eyes. And sometimes people with some vision loss, a negative image works a little bit better. So take a look at what might work for you.
Okay.
This is Amy. Again, what do you call those keyboards?
Those are, they're by Vizio. They are keyboard, large print keyboard letters. And as you may have noticed, it'll come with a full set. And you can put it on your shift key or tab, control button if you like, and your numbers. And
Just relax.
oh, okay. So when you get to one of the websites, whether it's MaxiAids or go on Amazon and take a look, maybe someone can look with you and let you know kind of what the background is and the color that would be best for you.
Oh, so it's just letters that you put on your own keyboard?
Yes, yes.
Because I can't see the video.
Oh, okay. So it's a keyboard on a laptop, and and on the regular keyboard keys, you peel off the letters and stick them right on the key itself, or on the control button, or on the tab key, or the numbers, so that it gives you, if you do still have some usable vision, you can see that it's like a larger print that it transforms your keyboard. So it can be on a regular keyboard, it works on a laptop, whatever you might need it for. Now, you might only want it on some main keys or your tab button or other things. It's your choice, but you've got the whole set that comes in. And you might find a different brand of it, so take a look and see what you can find for price.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That just reminded me though, there are large print keyboards that you can get on Amazon and they're about 20 bucks. So if you are someone, the difference is that the actual keys are physically larger too. So if you're used to typing with a small keyboard, it can be kind of clunky to transition to that. But
I would say, Maddie, that we had donated a large keyboard, and I have small feet and small hands, and it was too much of a span for the larger keyboard for me. So for some of the gentlemen out there, you might be just fine with a larger keyboard. But for me with smaller hands, the span was just too much.
that was the same problem with me. That's why I mentioned that the keys are further apart, because it can be very uncomfortable. But for those who are sort of hunt and peck people when they're typing anyway, it could still work for them.
Okie dokie.
Cool. I liked learning about the Comcast remote because I don't have cable. I've heard a lot about it.
Okay, you just broke up. I had Comcast a number of years ago, and was with a different carrier. And going back to Comcast, it is so easy to find things. And I know sometimes people say, well, why do you even watch TV? Well, sometimes you're listening to it if you're finding the channel, and I do need, you can find descriptive audio on the TV shows. It's so much easier to just push that button and talk into it. It's like one less thing you have to try to figure out. And so I am happy with that.
One thing about that remote is that when it goes dead, it doesn't give you any warning, so have batteries around. It uses batteries a little bit quicker.
Okay, good to know. And I do always have batteries on hand.
Yeah, and know where they are because you're stuck. It won't do anything all of a sudden.
Okay. I will keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else like to jump in there?
If those bigger keyboards can be plugged into a Chrome computer, a Chrome?
That is a question for one of our AT/IT guys.
Okay,
I'm not sure if those particular models match up with some newer models of whether it's Windows or Chrome. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So who was it that asked that question?
It's two, but I have class with them tomorrow, so I'll ask them tomorrow.
Okay,
I was just wondering because I want to get this Chrome more accessible.
Okay, and I would like you to ask one of the guys tomorrow then. That's great.
Okay, thank you.
Melissa?
Yes.
You probably need to know what type of keyboard. Is it like a wireless versus one with a cord? But they both go into the USB port, so I would imagine most of them would work.
Well, I do think it depends on the age of the keyboard, and if it's, if the technology is compatible with a newer laptop or iOS system. So I would like to defer to the experts on that because I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
So do we have any conversation, questions, suggestions? Maddie, how was our time?
We're actually at 2:05, but you know, I'm here, so if people want to stay on and ask questions or make suggestions, I'm happy to hear them.
Melissa?
Okay. Yes.
I was wondering, you were talking about the Velcro dots. Do you ever use those or Velcro strips, whatever, to mark any appliances, or do they not stick that well? What would you typically use those for?
Those I would use more for labeling, whether it's a medication or something of that nature, or something that is a reusable top, so I know the differences between it. I don't typically use that because the rough side is okay, I think, to label on an appliance, and I might do that. But the fabric side of it, after a period of time, it gets a little funky when you've been wiping down, you know, the front of your stove and where the knobs are. So I think that if you did want to use those, just use the rough side of the Velcro circle and save, you know, the fuzzy part for something else.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. And Maddie, if we have a minute, okay, hopefully I'm going to take a little walk here. And we'll add one more thing here since we have time. I'm not sure if I'm on the screen or not. Let me know how I'm doing. I am moving into the bathroom area. And what I'm going to do is just add one more thing for labeling. Now, Maddie, tell me, am I lined up with the medicine cabinet?
Yeah, pretty well. We're kind of looking at the right side of your medicine cabinet.
Okay. Well, when we did medication management at the beginning of our video series, I talked about keeping things in the same place. So, for example, over to the far right is always where I keep my thyroid medication. And I don't know if you can see, I've got a touch dot on the top of the bottle. But that is always placed to the right. And then my little Zyrtec, but it's a square bottle. So I know that, you know, that's what that is. And then, of course, my cholesterol medication. And I don't have it labeled because it's a round bottle, totally different than the thyroid. And it's always right here. And even up top, all my eye drops are up top. I'm not sure if you can see that or not.
You can see it.
Okay, and here's this guy. This is the others are twice a day, but this one's got a little touch dot on the side so that I know which one that is. Prolenza, super expensive, eek. So the idea behind this is that you're putting things in the same location, using your markers, and even up here, even though the different size bottle, big orange thing for Motrin, but I also have just a cheap rubber band on the Tylenol. So if I would have any doubt, I've got it labeled as well, but inexpensive. And that's it, easy breezy. And that is it.
Perfect. I think what's good about some medicines and also marking appliances is, you know, less is more in a lot of ways. I think the more things you mark, the more things you have to remember. So if you can, so like, for example, the medicine bottles you had, Zyrtec is a square bottle. Instead of marking it with a different shaped bump dot or a different, you know, like a Velcro instead of a soft bump dot, you can just recall from the shape of the bottle that it's square. So that's, you know, taking up less space in your brain.
Well, and also it's becoming systematic that, you know, the thyroid medication is always the first one on the right. And then the Zyrtec, because that's first thing in the morning. So if you position things in the same location, you know what they say, location, 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 that helps you as well as, you know, the labeling. And to mention too, the square touch dot that was on the cap of the medication is because when the refill comes in, it's okay to put that plain cap on the new refill. And that way you're not wasting it. You're just, you know, reusing it when you get your refill in. And that's it. Welcome to my medicine cabinet.
Where do you put, this is Amy, where do you put the rubber bands, on the bottle or on the top?
Well, that was for the Tylenol because I have Motrin and Tylenol, and I only put the rubber band on the Tylenol, and it's on the bottle itself.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the caps are pretty small on the eye drops. The bottles themselves are pretty small. So the one that I need to make sure I know is, you know, I put the touch dot on the side.
Okay.
And that's it.
Sometimes the eye drops have different color caps, if you can make that out. But
they
not
do.
always.
And sometimes I found at one point I was using one with a white cap and one with gray, and I couldn't tell the difference.
Oh boy, that was hard. Yes, yes.
Yep. So that's why the touch dot on the side of the one. And then my other one is like little plastic tubes because it's preservative free. So those are easy to know what they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you must have glaucoma?
Oh, most definitely.
Yes, that's what I have, yes.
I take quite a few medications, so I have to have one of these, and it does daily medications for me. So I know on Monday, which has a dot, Monday morning, this is where I start. And I don't have any dots on anything else except, excuse me, that's Sunday morning where I start my fresh medications. My husband usually does my medications because I cannot see the label at all. And if I ever got to the point where he couldn't do it, I'd have to have my daughter do it, and she is an RN. So I'm covered. But anyway, this is very handy because, you know, he does them once a week because I take medications twice a day and occasionally a pain pill midday, but I can take that out of the bottle. But these are all the medications that I do take, and they're labeled for a week. So it works really well for me.
And if you are able to go back to YouTube or from the Lighthouse website, we did do a video on medication management that if you wanted to review that, that might be a good idea because we talk about blister packs and some other ways to identify your medication if you need to go down that road.
You got it. You got four too. We're a pack.
Well, Maddie, if anyone else has some questions or comments or feedback, this might be a wrap.
This was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Melissa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here, and hopefully I'll see everyone again very soon.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for being here and for calling in.